Okay, so welcome to this episode of Absolute Dogs TV, and in this episode we're out and about again, and we are going to be talking about what to do when you see a dog and owner in the distance.
Or potentially when you just see the dog.
Yeah.
Because you know what?
They might visit you.
We're realists, we know it happens. What do you do when you see a dog in the distance? What do you do when you see a dog incoming? What do you do when you see that dog approaching you and you're seriously thinking, I don't want this to happen to me? So we've got some top tips for you. It's an exciting episode of Absolute Dogs TV.
One that you're all asking for
as well. It's one that
I
I know you're going to share. It's one that I know you're going to tag your friends into. So where do we start? Okay, tip one, breathe. Do not panic. Come up with something sensible and then action it. Because for me, if I was to see a dog in the distance right now, number one, I'd think, okay, these two dogs are okay with new dogs, first off. Number two, actually, let's get them into sort of a controlled position or a controlled scenario, just because I don't know that very, very big, fast incoming dog potentially. So for me, I would think logically on the dogs that I'm working as well. So the dogs that I've got out with me.
So what might that look like? Well, first of all, it might look like, for example, are you? It might look like, okay, I'm just going to pop my dog in middle, I'm just going to feed, I'm just going to keep the food there, and I'm just going to try and make it as clear as possible that, you know what, this dog is none of the other dog's business. So in theory, what we do is we occupy them, we engage them. I've just got hold of her collar right here as well, just because I'd hate to, you know, add movement to the situation that's probably going to make that other dog even more excitable. And I am literally just feeding my dog and making it clear we are none of the other dog's business. Now, the second little tip that we've got for you that I'll sometimes do, because this happens to us as well, don't think it doesn't, but we've got strategies, is I'm just going to preparing my food, and I see the dog over there, I see him charging, literally I'm going to go and I'm going to hand on collar, and I'm literally just going to feed in this position. My knee is up as well, again making it really clear that, you know what, we're none of his business. I'm just going to feed. I know you're excited about Abra. I'm just going to feed. This is really good real life example, because actually your dog might be giving mixed signals to that dog and being like, oh, I want to play, maybe I don't. And so I'm just making it really clear, I am none of your business to the other dog. Now, what often will happen is we'll often put, you'll find that you want to put your dog on lead. The challenge is that then what this creates is even more movement in the situation. Your dog's now on lead, the other dog's potentially now bouncing around yours and barking at your dog. Your dog's kind of on their lead, so they're trying to get away or trying to play, and they're flipping.
You can accidentally put in some confrontation there that didn't necessarily need to be there. So I think if you don't need to, and if you feel you can get away without doing that, then potentially do that. If you do feel you need to, and you do feel for your own safety or for your dog's safety, it's better, then of course we're not going to take away that right. At the same time, we would say really consider it. Another one, guys, very quick one for you. With her, and again, different strategies, different thoughts. With her, actually, because she loves a game of retrieve and she loves a game of something else, all I'd need to do is go to sort of look towards something, and she's completely mine. She's not looking at anyone else. She's not out there. She's not considering any other people. She's really focused, watching, and ready to do whatever that might be. So it might be, for me, I'd get her sort of almost shadowing, watching, and considering what we can find and play. Or there's something down here, or there's something down here, or there's something down here. But I get her attention with me without hopefully getting the other dog too excited. Obviously, if I need to create some space or I need to create some distance, I can pop something out there or using like toys and movement. But just like Tom said, toys and movement sometimes really excite the other dog. So for me, having the ability for her, she's not obsessed when you're out with food, but she is obsessed with the idea that she could retrieve. So for her, giving her that moment that might be an option for her.
Absolutely, and you know, it's the cool. Good girl. The cool thing is that you know, I've had situations, especially on a busy beach, for example, where there's dogs that maybe are kind of overstaying their welcome around our dogs, and our dogs just want to hang out in proximity. They're pretty sensible dogs, you know. This is the first time that Magma and Abra have met, and yet they're not wanting to wrestle and play. That's just not how they want to interact.
And it's not how they've been grown through the games that we play. And I think ultimately that's where that comes down to. It's the games that we've played to get them to that point. Yeah. So it's what's appropriate in each environment.
And I've had situations where, you know, I'll have like, I don't know, 3 or 4 dogs, and they'll all be with me. I'll kneel down just to make it really clear this is what we're doing. You can practice this without other dogs around so that your dog's used to it. And I'm just feeding them, you know, basically screaming to the other dog, we're none of your business. And either the other dog gets bored, which actually, if your dogs are used to playing this game, then they'll not be giving any mixed signals to the other dog, in which case the other dog's like, actually, there's more fun and mayhem to be had elsewhere. Or actually the other dog kind of looks goofy and wags its tail and stares at your dogs while the owner comes and retrieves them. Right?
And I think the big thing is that there's always a way through it. It might not always be the same way.
Yeah.
There's always a way through it. Just like Tom said, it might be the kneel down feeding approach. It might be the fact that for me, if I see something coming, I would straight away be like, what's this? Are you ready? And try to sort of have her with me, but at the same time not trying to incite massive movement.
Yeah.
I think have a bit of a plan, and when it comes to that incoming dog, first off, just don't panic.
Yeah.
Like I think that's one of the biggest things we see with owners all the time is
Yeah.
sheer panic. At
And
the same time, how do you deal with the other owner? Because I think it's important, right?
You know, other owners might, that's the other part of the puzzle, I guess. Other owners might want their dog to play with your dog.
Can my dog play with yours? And I remember having this scenario only the other week on the beach. I said to you, it's the first time I've managed to use this line successfully. And I was walking, I had 4 border collies. We were all walking on the beach. It was absolutely glorious day, really beautiful, very like this, but beach instead of woodland. And the man with his very, very big, bouncy, quite boisterous German Shepherd said, oh, your dogs look so athletic and happy and well trained. Would it be possible for my dog to be off lead playing with them? He would love to wrestle and play with your dogs. He would find that really exciting.
Yeah.
He would love to have a game like that with your dogs.
Yeah.
And I straight away had the line rehearsed. I'd said it many times in my head, never
We've
to a real person.
taught it many times.
And I said, I'm really sorry. I just don't think that they would enjoy that experience. And then I carried on walking whilst feeling insanely guilty, whilst feeling terribly bad, but I prepared for it. I was ready for it. I said the line, and in that moment, as we walked past the German Shepherd, and you guys who own German Shepherds, you'll know this noise, he let out this almighty, sorry. I was like, what on earth is that noise? And he kind of just made this huge noise. I'm sorry about the noise. He made this huge noise of like German Shepherd. And if you ever heard one, I mean, we have, when Tom and I are training at the training centre, we have dogs sometimes here, naughty but nice dogs in particular, and you know the sound of a shepherd when they sound like that, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They are, I've worked with lots of different shepherds, and he was definitely not going to have an appropriate play session with our dogs.
Yeah.
It was not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's not because of the breed.
No, absolutely
That's actually because that poor dog was not prepared for that situation. They didn't have the right balance of calmness, optimism, disengagement, all the things that, you know, we teach in Absolute Dogs, all the things that we teach in the Sexier Than a Squirrel challenge. And so you're actually doing the owner and the dog a favor, and you're being your dog's protector, right? You're being your dog's very best owner. So we cover quite a few strategies. The dog specific strategies were, first of all, middle and feed, and they'll learn that actually they're none of your business. The second one is crouch down, feed, hold on to the collar.
The third one, consider whether you've got any other tricks up your sleeve. For me, the intense focus that I get when there's something like a retrieve on offer, I utilise that.
What is this?
I utilise that moment
this?
of, what is this? Because I can keep her attention, even if it's not
Good
something
girlies.
that's particularly of interest to her. Apologies, guys, crow scarers. Actually, I love the fact that you two think there's a bird around. So they think it must be retrieve gun dog work. And so what I would say is that it's really appropriate and it's really important that you consider what your options are before you ever get into that scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, guys, we've answered the age-old question of what do I do when
Don't
that
panic.
dog runs up?
Don't panic. Do not panic. And if it all goes to pot and you really feel bad, go home, have a cup of tea if you're in England.
Or a wine.
Or a glass of wine. And depending on time of day, or maybe not.
No.
And what we would say most appropriately is be kind to yourself. You're a good owner. You're here, you're watching this, you're trying to learn. You're doing the best for your dog. And we think you're crushing it, you're rocking it, you're an amazing owner.
Remember, game changers, whatever the dog owning struggle, there's a game for that.
If you haven't already, remember to subscribe to our channel.
And check out our new 25-day online dog training challenge. Watch the videos, play the games, transform your dog owning struggles.
As a loyal YouTube subscriber, you can get a 70% discount through the link in the description below.
And if you haven't already, subscribe to the #1 most transformational dog training podcast on iTunes and Spotify, the Sexier Than a Squirrel podcast.
And remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more live teaching, video content and free training using the links in the description.